Hello everyone, just test our microphone and everything. Give Facebook a couple of minutes to sort itself out. Gives me a chance to have a couple of swigs of brew. Let's see who's going to join us tonight. I should put that on there, shouldn't I? So they keep reaching for it. How was everyone? The weather's been not too bad today, hasn't it? But it's just gone a bit
cold.
Yeah, it's chilly. Probably the coldest June I can remember.
It's cold.
Even if it's wet, it's usually like warm.
Can Free Mace this evening, Mark?
Good evening. Yeah, I've got a bit of it's more of an open-ended topic tonight, I suppose, but I think it's one that we needed to touch on. Just give it another couple of minutes. How's everyone keeping?
It's always so interesting once you start delving that little bit deeper into these subjects, isn't it?
I mean, this one, even for me, I mean, organic chemistry is such a huge topic, no one knows it all. So, you know, even for me, looking at some of these, it's been quite an eye-opener. It's interesting, to say the least.
Lisa Wells says hi, Sharon says hi.
Hello. Thanks for joining. Is it settled down yet?
Yeah.
We all seem to have to give Facebook a couple of minutes to settle itself down. It's ever since they've stopped us using that other presentation thing. I can't remember what it's called. All right then, so I suppose we might as well make a start. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, this subject I thought we needed to have a look at because it's kind of a big grey area. You see these things kind of mentioned, but they're not mentioned as a topic usually in a lot of these household products. So that's fragrance oils. So what's a fragrance oil? Well, basically, by the name suggests, it's anything you put into products, whether it be in perfume, shampoo, you name it, that gives a smell. Or in the case of these, it can be a taste. Some of them are actually used as flavourings. But you know, they don't seem to be called fragrance oils as such as ingredients. A lot of them will come under the topic of parfum, like we've said before. But there's three kind of main groups of the fragrance oils. So the first one I'll mention is that you can actually use essential oils for this as well. So anything that you put in as an essential oil to give a smell. We don't use essential oils for smells usually. In our main products, the essential oils are in there because they actually do something. The smell is by the by, it's incidental. So yeah, but even that I've looked into, and with the labelling, I mean, we always say we give the INCI names of all our essential oils, but so I don't know if it includes mixtures, whether you've got to say that, I don't know if it's the law or the acts or whatever, it's a bit unclear. So you can have mixtures of the essential oils and you could have mixtures of the synthetic ones as well in that. So I think it depends on, again, they probably label it as parfum to get around all that. Yeah, so you can actually use the natural essential oils, but the second group are what I call the synthetic essentials. So these are usually something like a main component that's in an essential oil or something natural, but they make it in a factory. So it's the same chemical component, but it's actually synthetically made. So a good example of that would be this smell you get, this artificial lavender smell. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. I mean, to me, it's quite a sharp, if that's the right word. It's like a almost bitter smell. That's a lavender fragrance oil, and it's usually made from synthetic essentials. These two components are in lavender oil, but they're by no means the only ones in there. But in the synthetic one, these are the two that they tend to use. So they will kind of label it as that. There's linalool, and then they use a derivative of that, which has got an acetate group on the end. So it's vinyl acetate. This one is the one that has that quite acrid, sharp smell. And I think that's the reason a lot of people don't get on well with the fragrance oil version. I'm not keen on it. It tends to it sort of gets you. It's very, very sharp, I think. But it's probably because you're lacking all the other stuff that's in there, the lavender, which can have synergistic effects as well. But I think it's because the bulk of them usually have this to give it that punch, and it does punch. It's quite almost acrid, I think, the artificial one. Yeah, so anything like that that's been copied from, say, a natural compound but made in a factory or a lab is what you call a synthetic essential. So that can be used as a fragrance oil as well. And the third group are the fully synthetic man-made ones, the man-invented. So basically nothing in nature exists like these. These have been dreamt up in a lab or discovered accidentally. Some of them are like that. So these are designed by humans and made by them, fully synthetic. I've had a look into these, and it's very like the not the fragrance oils, the parfum. There's a list I found of a list of about 1,000 that come under this. So these are purely used for scent, and the fully synthetic. I mean, I could go on all day again about these kind of things, but I thought for today I'd just list a few examples of the kind of thing that they're using. But I'll come back to that. So I wanted to touch on these first before I went down this list, because apart from all the usual suspects that they go into, like the body wash, soaps, cosmetics, all your shampoos, baby stuff, these tend to go a lot into things like candles and wax melts. They're artificial scents, but they'll give off this. They'll say it's like a natural odor, but it isn't. It's synthetic. Air fresheners as well. I hate those things with a passion. If you ask anyone that knows me, I won't have them anywhere near our house. I don't like air fresheners at all, not unless they're natural ones. But another one they tend to go into a lot are what you describe as wellness preparations. So basically it's something that they're saying has like an essential oil benefit, but they're actually using the synthetic ones because it's labelled as saying it's got the same smell and all that, but absolutely do not do the same thing. So it's something to be very aware of. Watch out for that. If it says fragrance oil and not essential oil, just be aware of what that could have in it. So what are these kinds of things? They're basically, it's a massive array of chemicals. It could be anything. I just thought I'd print off a few examples of the kind of thing. Now, this is these are just taken purely at random. I just looked at the structures and thought, oh, that'll be interesting. Because you can, usually tell by the kind of groups that they have on. This is 4-methyl 3-decene 5-ol. Wonderful name. And it's used because they say it gives a fresh green smell. So that tends to go into floor cleaners, surface cleaners, that kind of thing. It also goes into cosmetics and shampoos and soaps. And it's usually put in at a level of about 1% again. So again, like we've said before, a lot of these things, they say they're safe at 1%. But a lot of the time you look into, fractions of that have an effect. This particular one hasn't even had any dermal studies done on it. So basically they're using something that they don't know what it's going to do to you. It has been shown though to be acutely toxic to aquatic life. So basically, if you use any soaps or washes or anything like that, you're putting this down the drain. And I'll come back to that as well. There's an article there that I've printed off. It's actually classed as an environmental hazard, this one. It's very, very common. Very, very common. It's used in a lot of these. You do tend to smell it a lot, don't you, in these cleaners, this kind of fresh green smell. So that's just one example there for 4-methyl 3-decene 5-ol. But again, you probably won't see that on any label. It'll probably come under our old friend Parfum.
Joanne says, what category do aldehydes come into, the ones used in perfumery?
I suppose it depends, doesn't it? They do put this label on perfume or Parfum. I don't know what category, I'm not sure exactly. I'd say that's where they, for want of a better word, hide it under the label of Parfum. I think we did touch on a couple of the aldehydes, didn't we, last time? I don't know, it depends. A lot of the time it's up to the manufacturer how they segregate things and how they label it within reason. That one's fine. Yeah, I just thought I'd show. Thanks for that one. Yeah, a few examples of what's on that list that they're allowed to use. Just bear with me 1 second. So this is methyl-ionone safety data sheet for that. I'll come back to that one. Sorry. This is an interesting one. I spotted this structure on that list and I thought this will be interesting. It's called thiamethanone. This goes into things because it gives a nice black currant smell. So I'll just get rid of that. If you're interested in seeing the structures, I don't mind drawing them out. I know I find it fascinating, but a lot of people might just see it as gobbledygook. So that's this stuff. So these, when you've got a sulfur with a hydrogen like that, that's what they call a thiol. Very potent smell, thiols usually. I believe that the smell that a skunk produces is a thiol. This particular one, it's to give a black currant smell, so it's very pungent, punchy odour. This one, that's the safety data sheet there, I can show that. Again, I can upload all these if people are interested in seeing them. So we've got, it's toxic by ingestion, other hazards, stench. So, but again, thiols, they do stink. It says acute toxicity by oral ingestion, acute aquatic toxicity, chronic aquatic toxicity. And you can see the skull and crossbones. And it says danger, toxic if swallowed, very toxic to aquatic life, and has a long-lasting effect, so it kind of persists in the environment. Again, every time you use something with this, if it's in any of these, it's washed away, it goes into the environment, or it's released into the air. And it has to go somewhere. So yeah, it's a health hazard, harmful, eye irritant, toxic if swallowed. Yeah. Immediately call the poison centre if swallowed. Nice stuff.
Yeah.
So that's that one. That's your blackcurrant smell, the artificial one. I haven't gone into great detail in any one of these, what it's used, what particular products it's used in. I've just picked some at random because it is such a big. This is it is kind of a grey area, isn't it? It's, you know, is it a fragrance oil? Is it natural? Is it not? You've really got to be on the ball with these things. It's a bit naughty, really. They should be labelled a lot more clear. This is 3-cis-3-hexenaloxy propanitrile.
They have such catchy names.
Yeah. So there's the MSDS for that one. I can't remember what smell this one has. Anyway, it's another one. It says hazard classification is danger. This substance is toxic if inhaled. So this is something that they're using for a smell. Hang on, let's draw the structure out, I forgot. It's the irony. It's used as a smell and it's toxic if you inhale it. So that's the structure for that. This is interesting because this is a nitrile group, or for the old name, a cyano group. So the formula for cyanide gas is HCN. So very reactive. So it's no wonder it was toxic, that's why it leapt out at me. Has widespread use, this one. So a lot of people are exposed to this over the years. Yeah, another highly toxic one. Toxic to aquatic life again. Very toxic to aquatic life with long-lasting effects and harmful if swallowed. So that's that one. 3-cis-3-hexenaloxy propanitrile. Yummy. I'd say I could go on and on. I just thought I'd read out a few. Interesting name. Methyl pamplemousse. Pamplemousse. So let's draw this one. it's going to be very difficult for people to spot these individual things. So this is why I just thought I'd pick someone and show the kinds of things that could come under this heading. And they just write that, a bit like parfum. They just write that, yeah, it's a fragrance oil. It's a nice term for something that isn't really what you call an oil. Quite an interesting structure, that, actually. This one's actually quite flammable as well, but the reason this one is used is because it gives what they call a grapefruit smell, which is quite a nice smell. I personally can't eat grapefruit. It makes my face turn inside out. It's genetic. There's some acid in it that some people are sensitive to and others aren't. I think it's about 20% of the population that have this gene. But anyway. But I do actually like the smell of grapefruit. It's a nice smell.
Oh, it's like an alien sunbathing.
Reminds me of that drawing I did for Titanic. Yeah, so here we go. What does it do? Acute toxicity, dermal and skin corrosion and irritation, serious eye damage and eye irritation, hazardous to the aquatic environment, acute hazard, hazardous to the aquatic environment, long-term hazard. So that's another one that will build up and persist in the environment and do its thing. So it comes with a great big warning sign. Did I show that one? So, sorry, that's the MSDS for that. I just like to show because let everyone know that I'm not making things up. Does that just turn down? If it goes dark, I'm losing battery power here. I charged that not so long ago. So that's another one that comes under this list.
It's annoying when grapefruit is an easily
it's so readily available, isn't it? Yeah.
Available citrus fruit, and grapefruit oil is so easy to produce from it.
And you look at the synthetic routes for some of these things; they're not that easy to make chemically. It'd be easier to extract it. That took me back, didn't it? There's the synthetic linalool is made using what they call a Grignard, which is finely powdered magnesium in ether. It's got me bone dry. I remember doing that one years and years ago. Grignard reaction. Right, so now we have 6,6-dimethoxy 2,5,5-trimethyl-hextuene. This one is absolutely purely synthetic, doesn't exist in nature. Again, that's quite I wouldn't call it easy. It's very similar to the last one, isn't it? The substance is used in the following products: washing and cleaning, biocides, disinfectants, pest control products, polishes, waxes, air care, which I suppose is air freshener. It's how they're caring for it. Perfumes, fragrances and cosmetics, and personal care products. Other release in the environment of this substance is likely to occur from indoor use, machine washers, liquids, detergents, automotive care products, paints and coatings and adhesives even, fragrances, air fresheners. and outdoor use as processing aid. Not sure about that. But I say, like, organic chemistry is such a massive topic. I've never seen this structure before. Where are we? Yeah, it's another one that's harmful to aquatic life, has long-lasting effects, it says, and causes skin irritation in humans. So that's that one there. Fragrance. Yeah, so there's a few examples for you. Sort of show those. Again, it's such a large, large topic. One we do see a lot of, and people seem to be going mad for these days, is something called Snow Fairy. It has lots of different like tweaks. The Snow Angel,
Magic
Snow. Oh yeah, everyone seems to be going berserk for it. And I've looked up what's in it, so I thought it'd be worth a mention. It does seem to be everywhere at the moment, doesn't it?
It's one of those that if you walk down the high street at Christmas that you will smell.
I think it's supposed to give like a candy floss smell. I'm not sure about that because I've never smelt it. So,
well, was it banana, bubblegum, pear, and candy floss
all together?
Yeah.
Well, there's none of that in it. So this particular one was used as a perfume, not a parfum. But the ingredients, the top one, alcohol, so that's IMS, so it's methylated spirit or denatured alcohol. Yeah, so that was the bulk of this one. Then it just says perfume, so we're back to our friend, because it can be classed as proprietary information. What chemicals are in there, they're allowed to just call it perfume or parfum. So like we said last time, that could mean pretty much anything that's on this list or that other list from the Fragrance Society. That was about 3,000 on there. I'll group these together. There's this citral methyl ionone, which is the one I mentioned earlier. And I did have that sheet there, didn't I? That's the first one I picked up, was it not?
Everyone's saying that it's a really sickly smell.
Right.
Christine says, I've had Snow Fairy, it's very popular, can't use anything perfumed now, sets my allergies off.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that it's full of allergens. Yeah, so this is the methyl ionone. These structures are very similar, citral, methyl ionone, and they're kind of similar to a synthetic version of the linalols. That's that one. Yeah, so hazards identification, skin sensitization, chronic aquatic toxicity. May cause an allergic skin reaction. There you go. Toxic to aquatic life with long-lasting effects. So it's obviously harmful as well. It's got that harmful symbol on. So that's another one. Now we kind of come.
Well, one of the studies that I read on it said that if clothes were contaminated with it in the workplace, that they mustn't leave the workplace.
Right. Well, That's this snow fairy. Sorry, I have to keep swapping sheets. There's just that much going on with this one. Yeah, so the other thing that's in there, I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned these in the Parfum talk that we did. Synthetic musk. So the reason I've put the snow fairy kind of in between these two is because they've admitted there that it's synthetic musk. So I'm assuming that the other ones they're using are also synthetic. Otherwise they would have said essential oil, and they didn't say that. So, and they didn't use the INSI names either. But these are interesting synthetic musks, and one of them's a belter. But I'll draw the structures. So the two main ones that seem to be used and are probably in this. There's a Galaxolide, which is this. So 5-membered. And Tonalide or Tonalide, which is very similar. Interesting little chemistry tidbit. This 6-membered ring, like benzene, they call that an aromatic ring, because when they were first discovered they had quite a pleasant smell. That's why they call that aromatic. But yeah, they're so used in fragrance oils. Yeah, so our friend Galaxolide, highly toxic, persistent in the environment, and a study has also shown that it's mutagenic, i.e. attacks your DNA. Same with this one, mutagenic, persists in the environment, and toxic. And not only that, they're very fat soluble. So if they do get inside your body, they'll tend to sit in your fatty tissue, and it'll be absorbed in there and sit there and do its thing. Very difficult to get rid of them. It's one of the reasons they persist in the environment as well. They tend to cling to things like soil humus and clays, or anything that's alive that's got anything fatty like that way. So yeah, that's those two. They're predominantly used in these synthetic musks in the EU, and that probably means us as well. So chances are that's what's in there. I'll just read something that I got from the Journal of Environmental Pollution. Blah, 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 blah. More recent data needed to explain these conflicting opinions. Furthermore, Galaxolide and Tonalide were reported to take over about 95% of the share in Europe for all these kind of musks. Along with population growth and associated expansion of personal care product industries, the global output of synthetic musk is continuing to grow. And they know how bad these things are. So after use, it says over 3/4 of the synthetic musks are drained into the sewer system. So off they go into the water table. High concentrations have been detected in wastewater effluents due to extensive usage. So basically what they say here then is, because these things are well known to go into the water and into the sea as a pollutant, they're actually used as a marker for pollution. So they're quite easy to detect. So they actually look for these if you've got bad pollution. These will be one of the things they test for. So read into that what you will. Ubiquitous occurrence of synthetic musks has been reported in surface water, sediment, air, fish, mussels, human tissue, breast milk. So that's how persistent they are. So you breathe these in, put them on your skin, it's in. They're not nice. Yeah. Mutagenic, have a go at your DNA, highly toxic. Another one, not used so much in the EU, but I think it is still used in a lot in the Far East, South America, North America even. And I've mentioned this one before because it's just the structure of it made me laugh. But it is used as a fragrance oil, as a synthetic musk. I'll save the best till last. I have put this structure on before when I was doing the parfum. This is musk xylene. I don't know why they call it that because it's quite a bit different from xylene itself. So we've got our aromatic ring. Tertbutyl. Another methyl. Another methyl. But in between, we've got these nitro groups. So I don't know if you remember, if you just take that away and one of them, you've got TNT, and that stuff is actually classed as an explosive. So we've got trinitro. Well, it'd be xylene because of there, but it's got the tertbutyl group on as well. So that is an explosive. This is used because it has kind of a sweet, fatty, musky smell. But this is a belter. It's toxic, you name it, but it's carcinogenic as well. That's been proven carcinogen. Did I write that on here? Like I did I? Yeah, so yeah, synthetic musk could be that. If it's imported from outside the EU, possibly, but I don't know how strict the regulations are, whether they test something like that. But if you make it in the EU, I don't think you're allowed to use that.
A lot of wax melts and candles and stuff, though, come from China, don't they?
Yeah. So it could just come under the banner of fragrance oil. That, any of the others. It'd probably come under parfum as well. Yeah, so it's misleading and confusing. Let's say this one, even I've had a bit of an eye-opener with it. What's the range of things that are actually in there? I've got another list that I can upload if anyone's interested in looking at it, what's used in these, along with a lot of examples. Yeah, so that's your nice, smelly fragrance oil. Another toxic cocktail, basically, from what I can see. It could contain these as well. But yeah, there you go. I think they've got to label it. If it's synthetic, I think they've got to call it a fragrance oil, haven't they?
Mm. One term that you see quite a bit is safe synthetics.
Mm.
is how a lot of companies that proclaim to be natural.
Yeah. I mean, again, I've cited examples, haven't I, over the past few weeks of what is deemed by safe by, say, one regulatory body. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that it isn't. So there's quite a few of those, weren't there?
Mm.
And at the levels, I mean, they're probably allowed to put these in at 1%. And we have shown that like 1/10 of that can have an effect, even 1/100th. I think the best bet is to just play it safe and avoid anything that says fragrance oils. I do. I won't touch them. Not if I can help it.
Lisa Wells says, I feel like I need to complain to somebody. RJ says, so misleading, it's really shocking.
Yes.
Debbie says, it boils my to know what is going on with these manufactured products.
And bear in mind that some of them are going in food. They use as flavourings. Strawberry flavour, things like that. You can't really get a strawberry essential oil. You have to make a synthetic compound that smells like it. Same with a lot of the fruit, really.
Mm. Christine says, Mark, what about nail varnishes? Are they toxic?
I don't know. It depends on what goes into them. I've worked with a lot of the acrylics in the past, and there's certainly some that are quite nasty, like styrene if that's used, or ethyl acrylate, stuff like that. But in general, stuff like MMA, which is methyl methacrylate, it's not too bad. But if you're putting that on and then you put nail varnish remover on to get rid of, let's say you spill a bit, I mean that's a mixture of solvents, acetone, MEK usually. What they do, they'll dissolve what's there and drag it through your skin. And they are irritants. They're well known for stripping the oil out of your skin. So they do go in and then take the oil out. So things like with solvent, you've got to be very careful that it doesn't take it through your skin into your body. So I'd say that's probably the biggest risk with stuff like that. But again, read the label. It should say what acrylics are in there. I mean, I tend to use the word monomer because that's what I'm used to, but a lot of them now, they use what they call syrups that are partially polymerized, or another word for that is a telomere. You've probably heard of telomeres on your DNA, but it's just a short polymer. So they come as syrups, so they're partially polymerized already, and then they just put a hardener in, which is usually something like a UV initiator, which creates free radicals, which aren't good for you, really. Oh, it horrifies me when I see people having that teeth whitening thing done, like blasting the inside of your mouth with ultraviolet light. No. Yeah, I don't think they're too bad because certainly when they're set, once they're polymerized, they're fairly okay polymers. But just be careful when you're cleaning them off. Once it doesn't go through your skin. It probably will get under your cuticle, won't it, and whatever, but minimise it if you can.
That's why I always used to go and get mine done at a nail salon. It's because they file it off as opposed to remove it with nail varnish remover.
Well, I used to work in contact lens industry, and the acrylics in that are used. They're very similar to what's used on nails and things. The reason they use those particular ones is because your body tends not to interact with them. Like Perspex, which is polymethyl methacrylate, or PMA. your body doesn't interact with it very much. It doesn't attack it with antibodies or grow over it. But they actually noticed that. I'll bore everyone now. The reason they discovered that was by accident. In the Second World War, a lot of the aircraft canopies were made out of perspex. And a lot of the poor guys in them were getting shot up. They were getting splinters of the perspex buried inside the body under the skin. The bullets or whatever would take it through. And they noticed that the body didn't react to it. It just kind of grew over and left it. So that was the first contact lenses were made out of perspex. There's a Japanese guy whose name I forget. I think he perfected one. So yeah, that's the reason the acrylics are used in nails and all that kind of stuff, and in eyes.
Sharon says, would putting an oil-based moisturiser on your hands protect them at all? So yeah, anything with a barrier would, wouldn't it?
Mm. I don't know, it probably would wash it away eventually.
No, just like while you're taking it off.
I suppose it'd help, yeah. You can get, they used to call them invisible gloves, they're not called that anymore. They're like barrier creams, aren't they? Mechanics use them. They used to. Just like the ones I've seen, they're like a pink gunk, and you just rub it into your hand and leave it a couple of minutes. So something like that might be better.
EVA glue?
Probably crack, wouldn't it?
Lisa says, if we wore nail varnish to school, we were sent to the science block for an acetone bath to put our hands in. Only did it once.
Shouldn't be doing that. I bet that'd irritate your skin. I bet it took all the oil out. I used to use acetone a lot where I used to work. It was the cleaner of choice. Lots of it. Too much of it, like anything, too much of anything's good for nothing. That eventually a chronic thing from acetone, it'll have a go at your kidneys. Yeah, so any questions? Any more questions?
Anyone got any questions?
I mean, I think, the word safe, I don't know, it depends on how you look at it, really. I suppose if you were to breathe that in once, you'd probably be all right and get away with it. But if you're using it all the time, these things, they're in everything, aren't they now? Like that thing said, the usage is just going up and up.
There's a huge rise in people making businesses from homes, making wax melts with fragrance oils. And that's not regulated at all with percentages that they're using, or
a lot of them don't even have them tested. They're just chucking it together, like you say, in the kitchen, putting it online. Everything we make, we have it tested independently.
And even we've been told off in the past, haven't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the secret venom.
Yeah.
We were told we made our secret venom too strong. So we had to ease off on it a bit. But that was when we first did it.
But yeah, they wouldn't pass it, would they?
No. Yeah, well, a lot of essential oils, if you ask me, is a lot better than having a lot of that. Yeah, I could cite examples all night about these chemicals that are in that so-called fragrances. So just be aware.
There's not very many natural bubblegum fragrance oils.
No, not really. I wouldn't have thought so.
and such like. So a lot of them, it's easy to use your common sense, isn't it?
Originally, chewing gum was a natural thing, wasn't it? But the flavour wasn't. I don't care, ever has been. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I suppose they used peppermint and that, didn't they? Some of them.
Like hubba bubba bubble gum.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That sickly sweet smell.
Lisa says, thank you for all the info. People need to know about this. Guys, the best thing you can do is get into the support group and start telling people they need to watch these lives, because there's over 10,000 people in there.
Yeah. I mean, we do post them on YouTube afterwards. And again, I'll probably sound like a broken record, but I will iterate that this is the reason why we are natural. Everything we do is natural. It's so there's none of this. And it's not just because we're doing it because it's nice and it's a fad and fashionable. It's deadly serious. The reason why everything we do is as natural as possibly can be.
Joanne says, I remember making chewing gum as a kid, chewing wheat.
Right. I'm not sure. It was some sort of gum, wasn't it, the original one? Is it? I don't know if it is.
Oh,
is it? Can't remember. I've never made chewing gum.
Jake says, well done, guys. So proud of you getting the word out. This needs to be known.
Yeah, we're trying, aren't we? Yeah, like I said, even this one, even for me, was an eye-opener. Some of them are quite shocking, aren't they? Keep an eye out, that's all I can say. Keep an eye. If you see this, question it. My recommendation would be to put it back on the shelf. Unless you see essential oil or the INSI names. Even the synthetic ones, because the mixture has been altered. It's not how it should be in the plant, and there's a lot of things there. If they're missing, you're not getting that synergistic effect from it. And these things have been pretty much proven like that. The best example I always quote is quercetin, what you find in apples, and it has a great recovery effect. A lot of athletes use it. Things like that. It helps. It's an antioxidizing and all that kind of thing, and it helps your body recover. Now, if you take it in just tablet form, quercetin on its own, you don't seem to get anywhere near the effect as what you do if you say eat an apple, because all the other compounds in there are designed to work with the quercetin as well. So it's that kind of thing. Your essential oil is full of all that. Whereas these, it's just a discrete molecule, and in my opinion, they won't be having the same effect. Plus that acrid can't be doing with that artificial lavender smell. It's just like, it's really, dare I say, it's like urine type smell.
That came out exceptionally polite, my love. I'm so proud.
I'm normally more uncouth than that, aren't I? Yeah, so I suppose that's that for fragrance oil for today. If there's no more questions, we'll wander off. I'll say thank you for joining again, and we'll look at doing another one next week. No more questions? No? Okay then.
Say thank you.
All right, no, thanks for joining us, and hopefully see you soon. Take care, guys, and have a good night.